good formation as they come out of the hairpin. So the red lights, which are on, go out, and the race gets underway for 125 minutes, 2 hours and 5 minutes for the TEGIWA Club Enduro Championship, and a great sound as this 40-plus car grid streams past our commentary box under acceleration for the first time. One to watch actually from the back is going to be number 78. That's the Mike Nash Seat Supercopa. He started at the back and is already several places up the order.
Great start by the Parkin and Blair Audi TT. They got up into second place behind the Andy Marston BMW. The Andy Marston BMW leads the way then from the Audi TT, and third is the Swift Baker Seat. Then fourth is Bidgeway, who won yesterday's road sports race, and then the rest charging after them, among them the orange BMW, which is the car that fell out with an electrical problem after only one lap in yesterday's race. That's the car of Hampson and Schultz.
Yeah, and it's interesting because some of these two driver teams have two fairly evenly matched drivers, some not quite so much, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, although at this stage we don't know which drivers are aboard each car, unfortunately. Leaders are all spin.
Is that 12 gone round? It is.
It is, so that's
Scott Parkin.
Scott Parkin, brother of Ryan Parkin, who's out in the Audi. Scott Parkin in the TDI.
67 McBride off as well.
Yeah, and that's I'm not quite sure where that is that he's got off, but he's certainly stranded at the moment. We'll see if he can get back into the race. Cars coming through at the end of the first lap, and it is the BMW that is ahead of Andy Marston from the Seat in second place of no, it's the Audi in second place of Parkin and Blair, isn't it? There's McBride in that BMW that's prepared by Jeff Steele Racing. But here are the leaders heading down towards Tower for the second time then. It's Marston from Parkin and Adam Blair, the ex-Formula 3 racer, in second position. We're on board with Colin Gillespie. He was 10th at the end of the first lap, and he's heading down towards Tower Corner now, taking the right-hander and heading back out of it and towards the Jim Clark S's once again. But here are the leading three, Baker and Swift third, the drivers that have done so much winning in the past couple of seasons. That's where the McBride car is, then just on the way into Sunny, so I should think the officials will want to do something about that, and indeed I can see that the safety car is waiting at the end of the pit lane, but all the more reason for Baker and Swift to try and make a move now, but they've now seen the yellow flag, so took back in behind, and there's contact between the two leaders. They're under yellow flags, and I'm afraid that is hugely unnecessary. Why that's happened is slightly beyond me, I must say, because yellow flags were waving, but nevertheless the Parkin and Blair car seem to want to take the lead away from Andy Marston, who I think is going to head to the pits. Well, that's a little bit bizarre, Marcus.
Oh, absolutely ridiculous, wasn't it? And as you say, completely unnecessary. And you know, you're 1 3/4 laps into a 2 hour and 5 minute enduro. Contact is just not necessary.
Yes, less alone in those particular circumstances. Anyway,
exactly.
Safety car is out to lead them round, and it's that McBride car, which is half on and half off the circuit, isn't it? Just on the way to Sunny.
And it's
going now
under its own steam. It's
although not necessarily
much of a head of steam.
No, we'll see if it. I suspect he'll be to the pits, but at least it's going. So it will probably be a relatively short safety car period, unless there's anything else that we also.
Did the BMW go straight through? It rejoined. I think there was minimal, probably, cosmetic damage.
Yeah, we'll try and pick up where that has gone. Of course, that was the leading car of Andy Marston. Is that it? I can see in about 15th or something in the order. Possibly not. It might be a different one. I mean, it's showing on our screens in 10th place, but of course that's just when it tipped the timing beam in the pit lane. Let's see if we can spot that coming through. There it is, the 37 car. So yes, it is the one that I thought I saw out there. So it is in probably around about 15th position now, something like that. under the safety car, which I imagine, as I say, is going to be fairly short-lived, because I don't think that there's anything else that needs to be sorted out. So we've had 5 minutes, 2 hours left to go. And we'll give you a bit of a rundown on things. Now, this is too early, this safety car, for the drivers who think about making their mandatory stops. You can't make them until the 30 minutes have gone, and each pit stop then has to be 3 minutes in length. Each of the mandatory stops, and any pit stop that involves refuelling also has to be 3 minutes. But anything else, just sort of minor repairs or whatever, those can be done just as quickly as possible. Safety car lights are out, so it is, as we thought, going to be a relatively short safety car period, and the race getting back underway. So it's going to be that Ryan Parkin and Adam Blair car that leads the way. The dark side developments, Audi TT, Audi in front. Then you've got Carl Swift. It is just shown as Carl Swift rather than Swift and Baker, so we'll go for that being Carl Swift on his own in this one. He's in second place, and then in third place it's Leon Bidgeway in the Lotus at the moment. Fourth is, I'm guessing that's going to be Andy Schultz, who's the quicker of those two drivers in that orange BMW.
Yeah, the Talk Speed car.
Yeah, and then fifth actually is the number 2 car now. That's William Caswell and Ben Rushworth showing that car today.
Corton Miller set, isn't it? And that's got the very quick little Lotus of Stacey coming up alongside it, that was stuck in 4th gear in yesterday's race. There is the Andy Marston car just going past the Nib Seat.
Yeah, it was 16th at the beginning of this lap, Marcus, that car.
Okay.
Now up to 50th, having got past Nib. And look at this for the lead of the race. Carl Swift right with the Parkin and Blair Darkside Developments car. And it's an ex-Slide Sports built Audi TT. Well, it's an Audi, it was built for the VW Cup, which also allowed these cars as well. But had quite a bit of development on it since then. Up against the TCR car of Carl Swift and Rob Baker, who we think it is Carl Swift in that car, and is right under the wing of that Audi as they cross the line to complete lap number 4 of the race. And Swift has just done the best lap of the race as well at 1:29.20.
There is the 37 going through, which is stuck into the back of a group of cars. Oh, very, very close there with Kuma, and car he was trying to overtake. He got blocked. He went the other side of the yellow BMW.
The leaders.
There's a change potentially going up towards Tower as the Swift has made it. That's the Swift car goes through. So number 1, Carl Swift, going past the Audi TT, which then jumps all over the grass and all bounces back on. Right in front of Andy Schultz, but Leon Bidgeway's gone past and all that. And
Schultz is going to follow, isn't he?
Yeah, Schultz will follow, and Stacey as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if that Audi isn't destined to dive into the pits.
It's had a couple of biffs, hasn't it? One with Marston, now it's been all over the grass as well, so it's going to be a bit shaken up one way or another.
Fairly erratic effort so far. It's going to only improve.
You would think so. So it is now Swift that's leading, Leon Bidgeway second, Andy Marston is third, William Stacey is fourth, fifth is still the Parkin and Blair car, the Audi that's just been off onto the grass, and sixth is the Corton Miller car. What a black flag for a 3-digit car. So it does narrow it down a little bit, but not hugely. So one car getting a black flag there, telling it that it needs to come into the pit lane immediately. That's Schultz up the inside of Leon Bidgeway for second place there, Marcus.
Yep, and Schultz going really well in that. So they've got that. Oh, and Stacey's gone through as well.
It's the 188 car that's getting the black flag, by the way, which is the Graham Kelly E46 325.
That's the blue and black one.
Yeah. So there's this pack of cars. That's the 15 car of Colin Gillespie, who been on board with earlier on in this race. He is running at the moment in 8th position, and he's just ahead of Steve Cheatham in the Porsche Boxster. There's that 5 for 5th and 6th. You've got the Court Miller car being driven today by William Caswell and Ben Rushworth. Ben Rushworth, of course, a champion in Metros and in Hot Hatch a few years ago as well.
And also raced Paul Lugo Chevron B8 in historic events, very successful.
Yes, he's still a bit of a strike race because he was running GBs as well from memory. So that's the number 2 car, the Corton Miller Seat there. He's just ahead of that number 70 BMW, the Steve Hutchinson and Sammy Venables car, the Elite Works prepared car. There's number 3, that's the TWP MX5 of Nick Dougal and John Munro. That started well down the order, so we'll see if that's able to make up much progress this race. That coming towards us, I'm not quite sure who that was trying to pick it up. Which cars we're looking at here.
Up into the top 10 has come Jonathan Packer with his area Golf GTI, and behind him is Luke Handley in a similar car. 13th now is Andy Marston in the 37. BMW was nerfed by the Audi TT on lap 2.
I mean, there's a very real chance that that's going to cost Andy Marston a real chance of victory here, because he's in 13th position, but 22 seconds behind the leader at this point. So quite a lot of work for him to do. I think the car that was trying to struggle to identify a minute ago was the 67 car of Julian McBride, wasn't it?
The Audi TCR car is sort of charging up the order a bit, and it's now in a couple of places behind the Browse Stowmarket Glass BMW. The yellow BM also having a good old run there. Behind, that's the Nicole Drought Elise, isn't it, with the Irish tricolour on the roof.
Yeah, that Audi RS3 of Beach and Grice is up to 25th position at the moment. Started, of course, from the pit lane. New fastest lap of the race to Andy Schultz, 1:27.28 in second position. The gap is 2.72 seconds to the race leader Carl Swift, so that has come down by about 7/10 on the previous lap. So Andy Schultz, a very rapid pilot. There we've got contrast in terms of the size of those cars. We've got the big William Taylor, Matty Taylor, Will Ashmore Holden Commodore, now with the BMW 7-speed gearbox aboard it, to hopefully rectify the gearbox issues they were having with the 4-speed unit that they were running last year.
So the Audi that started ended up starting in the pit lane.
It did, yeah.
And is making a good old charge.
22nd now, yeah.
There's Stacey and Co. Schultz carving his way through traffic, just gone past the Baptiste team BMW. Actually, seeing that 49 Lotus from a loftier touring car is difficult.
Down into Clervaux, we've got the 53 car here. The leaders are together, aren't they? Schultz has taken the lead, 1.2 seconds. In fact, he's gone through, take the lead quite convincingly on that lap, so we'll try and pick that up in a second. So we've got a new leader. There it is, the 69 car, and actually Will Stacey's not too far behind either, is he?
He's going nicely. Say, cutting his way through the traffic. Very hard to see that car. It's sort of that sort of wind-cheating low shape underneath the radar of most of them. Kevin Schultz diving in. That was a problem with the throttle position sensors, etc. Electronically yesterday, the 3 sensors weren't talking to each other, so they couldn't make the engine run. And it prevents it from going on to full throttle or other nasties happening, apparently.
Colin Gillespie, we're on board with him there. He's trying to get past that 188 car, which is the one that's had the black flag. That'll be to lap it, but he's also right behind Steve Cheetham now, which is that Steve Cheetham has just got through ahead of him, because he was behind previously.
Yeah. Cheetham in the middle in the Porsche. Gillespie behind.
Number 10's into the pits, that's Rob
Oh,
Fennick.
and that's the 46 hole's gone off.
Yeah, 6.2 litre V8 of Matty Taylor and Will Ashmore. Will Ashmore, who's started racing 7 years ago in AFRC and had an ex-drift racer as well. There's that Fennick car. So out front, on the next lap we've had Schultz 1.26 seconds clear of Carter, so the gap pretty static on that lap, but it's a very busy circuit. There you can see the battle for 7th place. That's Cheetham and just ahead of him the Hutchinson and Venables BMW, but it's a very busy circuit with traffic already.
Gaining ground on the 37, Andy Marston up to 10th place in the white BMWs in the back of that group, and Bidgeway's outbraked himself as he into Tower.
He has, and he's lost places.
Lost a
because
lot
of
of places.
He was 6th, so he's already lost a bit of ground, hadn't he? But he's now lost out to the Hutchinson and Venables BMW and Steve Cheetham in the Porsche Boxster as well. And off has gone Jonathan Packer, number 5, one of the Class B front runners in the Golf GTR. In fact, he was the Class B leader, so from 11th place. He's had a spin also off the circuit, and having collected a lot of the local flora, is 73. That's the Stephen Duran and Scott Bunn Seat Leon 2 litre car. So quite a few cars having little offs at the moment. Still the black flag is being displayed to 188 Graham Caddy for his stop-go penalty. There's a car as well just waiting for a gap to come through the
Is that Packer?
cut through.
Is that could be Packer? It's the right colours for Packer.
Yes, it is the Packer car number 5. So he's well. The problem with that is that lap won't count because he should cut the circuit. So hopefully the timekeepers will spot that and not credit him with that lap, because although it might be fun to do that on a test day, you probably shouldn't really be doing that in a race, cutting through the short circuit like that.
Bidgeway's dropped to 9th, by the way, in the Exige.
Oh, another queuing up down there, and that is, I think, the Seat I was just mentioning as well. So I wonder if they were involved together. That's the 73 set of Duran and Bunn. That's also stopped now. There's been one car off, I can see just at the hairpin as well. That's the 99 car, Joe Williams in his Volkswagen Golf, the Williams Racing Team prepared entry. Still getting a little bit scrappy at the moment though. Car number 10, which is the one in the pits, the Lotus in the pits of Rob Fennick, that's there was a vibration reported also. We think that's down to a loose wheel, so that's why Rob Fennick has been into the pit lane. Hour and 47 still to go in this race. Still Andy Schultz leading. He's stretched that out to 2.5 seconds now over Carl Swift in 2nd. Will Stacey in 3rd. He's only just behind Carl Swift. And then you've got the Parkingham Blair Audi TT in 4th place, ahead of Caswell and Rushworth in 5th, and Hutchinson and Venables in 6th.
73's got back in with an awful lot of greenery out of the radiator duct.
Yeah, so and they'll have lost probably a good lap and a half of worth of time. And that's, we're watching the 881 car. That's the car that had some strife in qualifying this morning. That's the ex-Civic Cup car prepared by Lewis Rose. He shares it with his brother Aaron, and lists Croft as his favourite circuit actually, as do a few of these drivers. Nick Dougill and Matthew Titmarsh also listing Croft as their preferred venue in the UK.
Good to see Lance Gould out there racing the Scott, son of the legendary writer, journalist, photographer Graham Gould, who did some Formula Ford and things many, many years ago. Been out of the saddle for far too long.
So this is the fight that we're watching for 5th, 6th and 7th positions, just coming down towards the complex. They're just going to get past the TWP Lotus of Reese Lysett and Steve Brockington there. That's the number 4 car. That's going a lap down. Broken rear suspension, we understand, on the Jonathan Packer Golf. After that car went off, or possibly because that car went off. Maybe it was why the car went off. just seeing the two leaders heading down, or the second and third place cars heading down towards Tower Corner. That is very close between Carl Swift and Will Stacey. There's less than a car length between those two as they turn through Tower Corner and head off up towards the Jim Clark S's. We're watching though the fight for, we were watching the fight for fifth, this is the fight for second now. That is Swift and Stacey heading through the Jim Clark S's towards the right hand kink at Barcroft, and then the heavier turn at oh, well, there's contact in that battle for fifth position, and Marston again has been involved. Steve Cheetham in the 43 car, he has also come to grief, and there was certainly some contact there, and that looks like that is broken.
That's finished, isn't it?
Yeah, that is finished, and that is stranded in an awkward position pretty much on the apex of Tower Corner there. So I think surely we're going to see the safety car out again for that. We're not quite into mandatory pit stop territory though, which is the chagrin of the teams who would like to use a safety car to their advantage. So it's still Schultz leading. He's 4 seconds clear of Carl Swift now in second place. It's Will Stacey in third. And it's Parker and Blair for that. The Marston BMW is moving and reasonably well. So we're probably not going to need a safety car after all. That look, I must admit, I thought that was
it looked like it was knocked around. Certainly the bodywork's been knocked around. The suspension may be okay. Let's hope so. TEGIWA certainly sort of picking his way back up, basically helped by that, I guess. Yeah,
Cheetham's into the pit lane after he was involved in that incident with Marston, as Marston was trying to come back. There's Stacey getting past the back marker, number 78. That's the Mike Nash car that started towards the back and did make some reasonable progress.
Steve Cheetham's jumped out of his car.
Yeah,
scrutineer down there having a look at it, possibly so.
Yes, I would think so. So I think frustration there for the Lodge Sports entry. So if we get news from down in the pit lane.
They're pushing the car into the garage by the looks of things.
Yeah. 73 car, I think. They're hoping to get that back out into the face of Stephen Durand and Scott Byrne, Seat Leon. As into the pits comes Marston now, just having a look. Actually, the silly bodywork damage,
cosmetic.
But it may just be cosmetic, yeah. But that's already a second visit to the pits for Andy Marston before he's made his mandatory one. And then we can see second and third on screen. They've got, I think that's the number 99 Golf to lap. That's en route to Tower Corner. So it's Carl Swift and Will Stacey, the Leon TCR car against the number 49 Lotus Elise 1.8 litre car for the driver from Whittam. Very rapid and well driven machine.
Yeah, it's not short of downforce, it's sort of huge great trail on the front. It's got a massive Venturi out of the back and a big wing too. It doesn't have a lot of power, the Lotus.
No, of course not.
But it can run very light.
It can run light, yes. Power to weight ratio of two cars will be similar by design. First lap of the race still to Andy Schultz at 1:27.28. There is the Marston BMW. It's been reversed into the pit garage, which tends to suggest that they're not expecting it to be able to get back out, or at least not very quickly. So that's a great shame, because that car was
among the potential winners.
Well, it certainly was, and of course if it hadn't been for that incident with the yellow flags down here, he would never have been in that position in the first place.
No, that's right. Let's see where the 27 Grice Audi is. It's
13th.
13th now.
Yeah.
Behind the 55 Kuma Seat. And one of the Golfs right on its tail.
Yeah,
that's Freeman.
It is. That is for 12th, 13th and 14th position. And the Class B lead at the moment is being held by Luke Handley, who's a little bit further below in 10th place, car number 51. Class C lead, I'm going to need to scroll down on our timing screen to see that. That's Nick Dougal and John Monroe, actually, in the TWP Mazda MX-5 number 3 car. Watching Kuma come through. about 5 minutes away from the pit lane window opening for mandatory stops. So we'll see how those pan out. There is the 13 car.
And there's the Grice Audi now attacking Luke Handley.
Yes,
so
that's
Handley,
right.
and where did the Porsche go? Went straight through the Cayman, went straight through the chicane.
It did. So there's the 27 car, the Grice-driven car. It's going to go up the inside of the Porsche, and that's going to be up inside the top 10 because they've cleared Handley as well, who was 10th. So I think that's 10th, 11th, 12th that we can see on screen at the moment. So that's a good drive this from Mark Grice from the pit lane.
Car that came in from Belgium, I understand.
Yes, the Audi RS3 TCR car. Watching Handley there, he's leading Class B then. Second within Class B. No, well, he's not now, is he? Because he's behind the Porsche. So the Porsche is taking the Class B lead. Steve Houston and Matt Fazy in the Porsche Cayman that was built sort of during lockdown from a crashed road car. And that is the battle for the Class B lead that you can see on screen now, just heading over the line. That's to complete lap number 16 of this race. 26.5 minutes have gone by. So Houston and Fazy, and then Luke Handley next up in the 51 car. Yeah, we think the 37 car from Martin's now an official retirement. It doesn't look like there's any work being done on that car in the pit lane. Thanks to Tom Butterworth for getting these messages up to me in the commentary box. So it looks like Martin's out, which is a great shame. Handley can't quite live with the pace of that Porsche, it seems, at the moment. In 11th position in the Class B lead. Let's look at the lap times. Houston and Faze, that's on 1:32.32. Handley's actually on 1:31.62, so he has been quicker. That's not for position. That's the 117 car being passed nevertheless there by Porsche. That's Martin Gadsby in that BMW Compact. Quite a fearsome compact to get it up into Class A.
And Handley's just lost a place to the next of the Golfs, which I think is that of Freeman, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's going to be for position as well, for
yes.
Class B P2.
And that was an unusual way to do it. It's coming into the complex. Sort of on screen.
I wonder if Handley's got a problem then, because as we say, he has been quicker than some of the cars ahead. It's not the case now. The 166 cars in for pits. That's Nicole Drought, the Irish driver in the Lotus Elise that she's racing this weekend. You can see the Irish commentator Leo Nolte, who's over here keeping an eye on Nicole this weekend, observing what's going on down in the pit stop. 69 is our race leader, Andy Schultz, going through. He's only got 2.6 second lead now over the next two, and possibly traffic has stymied him slightly. Swift and Stacey are still right together, less than a second between them, and they're picking their way through this traffic now.
Yep. Schultz's teammate Hampson, nothing like his experience, is he? So he's got some work to do when he gets in there. And
reporting the same issue actually on the Nicole Drought car, the 166 car that's in the pit lane, as that was the case with Rob Fennick, also a loose wheel and vibration. Number 2 is into the pits, and just before the half-hour mark as well, so this isn't a scheduled stop. That's the William Caswell and Ben Rushworth car. That's into the pits, but not yet for its mandatory stop. There it is.
Fulton Miller Motorsport with Ben Rushworth. The national flag of Hong Kong.
I think it is, yeah. So that's into the pits a little bit earlier than they would have wanted for the timing of the mandatory stops. Let's see if we get news from from Tom Buttonmore. What's going on with that one? So working on the front left. Wheel off.
1 hour 35 to go, so that means officially the pit window can open.
It is, yes,
yeah.
The board is being displayed from the start line to let the teams know that as well. So we are now into the pit window in this race. So it'll be interesting to see if many drivers do stop relatively early, or I suspect some might just wait a little bit longer to see if there's another safety car. We've already had one in this race. We thought we were going to have another, but it wasn't required in the end. There's the Rushworth and Caswell car getting back out into the race.
Very smart. It looks like it's absolutely brand new.
It does.
Very tidy. They're still applying the decals yesterday. In fact, indeed, this morning they were still sticking decals on it.
Rushworth drafted in fairly late before the Donington meeting to drive the car and hopefully provide the benefit of his experience. The Machina Motorsport man, 39-year-old, is a Metro and Hot Hatch champion. On board with Colin Gillespie, who's now 6th, and I think that's one of the back markers ahead of him on the road at the moment. We can just about see the top portion of that set. I think that's the Mike Nash car, quite possibly, that he's coming up to lap. But good to have that on view. And you can see from that, blue skies now over Croft, a dramatic change to what we had about 2 hours ago.
Yeah, it's fabulous, isn't it? It's a very typical kind of Croft afternoon. I've been here so often in glorious sunshine, but during the weekends it's been very changeable.
It was a deflating tyre on the number 2 car that caused the pit stop, which explains why they were working on the front left there. It wasn't fully deflated. Well, they said they've done the driver change as well, which... and that's the 46 car, that's the Holden that spun at Clairvaux. It's pointing in the wrong direction.
Second time off the track.
Yeah, so Will Ashmore and Matty Taylor, the 2 drivers of that car, and drove about 3 feet forward then, and now it's reversing, interestingly. Okay. Which way is it going to go now to try and get back into this race? It's now in a slightly worse position than it was before. As the driver's just looking for a gap in the traffic. Difficult to find a bit of 45 car field. Well, there's a gap and there's no movement. So I think there's a problem with that car as it moves. Yeah, there's a...
it's torn the side valance off it.
Yeah.
And that's going to fall off for the end of the lap, probably.
If indeed it gets that far. So that'll be a pit lane visit, I think, at the end of this one. At least that can now be a mandatory pit stop as well. So we are just over 90 minutes left to run in this race. 55 car Chris Coomer's in, so he's driving solo, so this could well be his mandatory stop, getting it out of the way quite early. Sattler and TCR. So in race Honda Civic, where you can see the refuelling there with the mechanic on hand with a fire extinguisher as well. That's part of the regulations. Driver has to be out of the car while this is happening as well, and no other work can be done on the car. That's what I think of from the brakes there. TCR car. Still Andy Schultz leading, by the way, but the gap's come down to 1.79 seconds to Carl Swift in 2nd place, and he's got a little more daylight now to Will Stacey's Lotus Elise in 3rd position. It's the Ryan Parkin and Adam Player Audi TT in 4th, number 11. Hutchinson and Venable still 5th in the BMW M4, number 70. 6th is number 15, Colin Gillespie. 7th is 32, Leon Bidgeway. 8th is 38.
Swift in.
Oh, he is, yes, from P2. I just say 8th, Peter Morsdale and Stephen Kent. 9th, 27, Beach and Grice on the back of the grid. And 10th is the Class B leader, Steve Hewson and Matt Fazy in the Porsche Cayman. The Holden's also into the pits, unsurprisingly. So the first significant mandatory stop there, though, for Carl Swift from second place, number 1, and he will no doubt go back out for his second stint in just under 3 minutes' time now. It's a mandatory 3 seconds stationary in the TEGIWA Club Enduro Championship. There we can see the Mini going through. That's number 11, that's the Ryan Parkin and Adam Blair Audi TT that's in 4th position. It's contending for the lead right at the start of this race. There's that Mini going through. And that's the Neville Jones, Christopher Jones car. I think it's the only Mini in the race. There's the work being done. There's a tyre change going on, isn't there, on the Swift car?
Certainly.
Just pulled in beside the Chris Cooper car, you can see, to the background, 55.
Some cars in that area garage as well, they're all absolutely immaculate.
Yeah. And there's the Holden as well. Some refuelling being done there as well.
Guess they just ripped that side fence thing off.
Yes. Yes, I don't know anything more sophisticated.
Back to the pits at all.
Yeah.
Bright green BMW, it's the Stowmarket glass car, the father and son Browse, Peter and Luke Browse from Suffolk.
102, that's the Martin, the extra car, isn't it? The addition to the programme. Matthew Higgins, and he had his hand out of the window there, so I think he's got a problem. Truck's going to make it back to the pits here. Hopefully he will. See, yes, the team are waiting for him actually down here with their pit board to tell him exactly where he needs to stop. That's the number 12 car you can see on screen there at the moment. That's Scott Parkin, brother of Ryan. Scott in the Volkswagen Golf. He's in a Class B car, and where is he positioned? He is in 15th overall and 4th in Class B at the moment. There's the 102 car coming in.
Hanley's just going past, that's going to a little.
The view here from the pit wall as the cars stream past. About 24 laps into this race for the leaders. Some cars already 2 or 3 laps down. That's the 12 car then, just behind the Phil Nibb and Andrew Rath Seat Leon. So that is for position. In fact, it is for 13th position, that little battle.
We've lost only 4 cars, I think. Duran and Bunn maybe, Cheetham, Marston and Packer.
Yes.
Handley up into 11th place again in the green flashed Golf GTI.
But he's 11 seconds, I think, behind Chris Freeman now, so he's lost quite a lot of time in the battle for Class B honours, whereas for the Class B lead, there's less than a second between the Hewson and Faisy Cayman and the Chris Freeman VW Golf. So we'll pick that up at some point. That's for 10th and 11th overall. There's the McGann going through shot. That's the treble 8 car, owned by Graham Price, sharing it with Jason Hennifer today. Pure track prepared car, which has been newly prepared for this season. The 79 car you can see on screen there, that's the Lance Gould and John Brown car. Talking about Lance Gould a little while ago, that's running in 12th place, so just ahead of that Nibb and Rath Cupra and Scott Parkin Turbo Diesel Golf. Dark Side Developments, of which Scott is the co-owner with brother Ryan and director. They do specialise in this diesel machinery.
Get pretty good fuel consumption from a diesel car, don't you? Usually the racing version.
Treble 8 car's about to be lapped by them though, that began. I'd say it's Graham Price and Jason Henner for the drivers racing in the STXR Championship for 15 years, twice the XR3i champion within that class. Swallowed up by the...
You can see that the torque of that diesel Golf at the back of the group, the 12, is absolutely astonishing.
Yes, it really gains, doesn't it, by having that different power delivery. Also has that idiosyncratic black smoke.
Bit of black smoke, which is just a part and parcel.
Yeah. Right, are they going to get past the McGann anytime soon? Yes, the McGann, I think, gives way to all three of those cars in one fell swoop, which is probably a wise thing to do. It keeps them all sticking together in their fight for 12th, 13th and 14th positions. Front right issue on 102 car, the Matthew Higgins car. That's why that came into some damage there for them to assess and to work on, if possible, before they get it back out into the race. Just looking to see where Carl Swift fed back in after his stop, 27th. Of course, it is a 3-minute stop.
Nib, who was under pressure from Scott Parkin, has now managed to get past the yellow BMW, the gold and brown car.
Yeah.
Bit between them. And I can see the third placed Audi coming up. Another Parkin Dark Side Developments car.
Yes, that moved into third place, didn't it? So, not sure whether it's Blair or Parkin in that at the moment. It could be one twin lapping the other.
Yeah, it would be nice to know.
Yeah, Adam Blair, who raced in Formula First in the, I guess, late 90s, and did a little bit in Formula 3 and other single-seater stuff, but not raced at a high level for a little while. Ooh, one of them kicking up some dust there on the. I think it was the gold and brown car, which therefore loses a position, I think.
Has Bidgeway come into the pit somewhere? I haven't seen.
I've not noticed.
Disappeared from the top 10 if he hasn't.
Shown as 22nd on our screen. Possibly, if it has come in, Tom Butterworth can confirm. And which car's that? Is that the Kuma car?
I think it's Kuma coloured.
Yeah.
See some air Jackson action in a second.
Yeah, 55. Yeah. The yellow BMW's come in now to make it stop. That's the number 79 car, isn't it, of gold and brown. Note that down. But yeah, I've not seen Bidgeway come in. We can see cars as they come underneath us, but then if they're sort of further down the pit lane, we don't get to see them because they're hidden by the roof.
Yes, that's just the other side of race control, from what I remember.
A conversation going on between the drivers, getting ready to put the fuel in. Work isn't done once they've got out of the car. They have fueling to do as well. About 80 minutes or so to go in this race. We've had just under 45 minutes of it so far. You can see out of our commentary box window of the Hutchinson and Venables M4 coming through ahead now of the Parkin and Blair car, so that's been a change for third position, but I think it's going to change back around again as they head down the straight. But yeah, certainly the Hutchinson Venables BMW briefly ahead.
This is the battle for the lead, isn't it? With Schultz in the BMW, the Torque Speed car.
It is, yes.
Number 69 is being caught now by Will Stacey in the 49 Lotus. That gearbox problem yesterday stuck in fourth in the towards the end of the road sports race, and they're absolutely nose to tail in a group of cars as they come to finish lap 29.
Yeah, and does this give an advantage to one or the other? Possibly, if anything, to Schultz here. although
The Lotus can't live with the Gordon Miller Seat, can it, in a straight line?
which is a lap or two down now after its pit stop, but sort of dives out from underneath it as they go through Clervaux. It's then got the Holden Commodore ahead as well, but that's what was really close. Now it's become separated a little bit, hasn't it? The lead battle again.
Yes, that's right.
The Ginetta Flying Tangerine Racing car with Chris Webster sharing it with Matthew Tidmarsh, the 48-year-old 2018 Max 5 champion.
Stacey dived back past the Holden on the apex of Tower Corner, is now coming back. They've got this little Ginetta dressed as a 1970 Porsche 9083 on the Targa Florio with that single stripe over the top of it. Comes scything past the Ginetta into Barcroft, then into Sunny Corner they go.
Yes, so there is the Colden, there is the, of course, a Miller Seat, and there is Stacey in second position, and he's taken a bit of time back out of Andy Schultz, I reckon, in the second part of this lap.
Very much so. In that twiddly bits, the Lotus is much nimbler, isn't it? Much more agile.
It is. So 0.54 at the start of the lap, at the end of the lap 0.86. The gap between them.
It's 30 laps down.
That's right. So we're going to get probably something like 75, I would think. Or something of that order, depending on whether we get a safety car or not. There is the 27 car, so that is the Beach and Grice car, up in 7th position now. And they had a slower lap last time through. They have been catching the Morsdale and Kent E46 M3. That's the 4th place car coming through. Number 11, the Parkin and Black, or 3rd place in fact now, so it's got back ahead of the BMW of Venables and Hutchinson. Is the BMW still there? It is, but quite a long way further back now. So it's lost a couple of seconds, that car, as we're watching the leaders. They're mired in traffic here, aren't they?
Yep, and there's trouble ahead for the race leader there. To negotiate a couple. One's the Kelly BMW, the other is the black and green Seat. Goes charging through. And again, the BMW can out-grunt some of these cars in a straight line, whereas the Lotus apparently can't.
Yeah, and that means that it then gets a car or two between them, which then the Stacey has to sort of do all the hard work to get back on turns, go through the same thing to happen on the next lap.
Yeah, he's certainly enjoying it though, isn't he? Stacey's hanging in there. Little cone is being flicked into the road there. So it's blow away, you see.
Yeah, that's at Barcroft. So there's the race leader, number 69, Andy Schultz. On lap 32 of this race, he's also got the best lap of the race so far, 1:27.28. And he's got one car between himself and Will Stacey in second place at the moment. Try and make it 2 if he can, before he arrives. Well, is that I think it was a yellow flag. I think it was for the 16 car, Phil Dryborough, that I think had a bit of a moment, but sunny. Phil Dryborough, the former British GT racer. And he started racing in 2008 at the age of 48, did 3 seasons in British GT, plus also some racing in the GT Cup and Brit car. But enjoying what he's doing at the moment in this self-built Porsche Boxster. Man from based in Edinburgh. Gets support from CW Motorsport and Lodge Sports as well. Right, here's Will Stacey. He's tucked in. Oh, and the leader's off! The leader's lost a wheel. The wheel has come off there. Unfortunately, it stayed on the inside of the circuit, but the leader, Andy Schultz, out of the race. There must have been a breakage on the car there because I don't think he was around anybody else. So that means that Will Stacey goes through into the lead with drama there for Andy Schultz, leading on lap 33 of the race. The front left wheel goes flying off, and there's nothing that can be done about that. I think this may necessitate a safety car, which I suspect will herald a flurry of pit lane visits. But Will Stacey there, number 49 in the Lotus Elise, takes the lead of the race. The driver out of the car, I'm pleased to say, just having a look. Yeah, there is no wheel there, my friend. It's about 50 yards further down the road. So he'll hop over the barriers, and there's another one stopped. I think that's Mike Nash. Am I right there? Is that the 78 car?
Yes.
Yeah. Thought so. Yes, Mike Nash in the Kinetic Racing 2-litre turbo Supercopa, built by Set Sport for 2009 season. So, a bit of drama with the leader going out with just about an hour and a quarter of the race left to go. Number 14, that's Chris Freeman's off the road, and he was second in Class B. He may well still be second in Class B.
Yes, he's having a good battle with the
Scott
Houston Fazy car.
Yes, he was half a second behind Houston and Fazy, but 20 seconds clear of Parkin.
I think he was just past them at that point, so maybe he just got past and then had a problem. There we go, refueling the Lotus far end of the pit lane.
Quite a few cars coming into pit lane, and yes, the safety car boards are out, so I think they're all going to come in now.
And while they were refueling, his teammate's having a problem in the number 3, the Mazda, off the track there on the grass.
John Monroe and Nick Dougal in the other car, but yes, the safety car flags are out. Safety car has picked up Will Stacey, and yeah, many cars now, not all of them, but many cars heading down the pit lane to make their stops. First safety car that we've had since the pit lane window opened. We had one in the very early stages of the race. But this will mean that it's an opportunity for most of the drivers to take their stop. The reason for the safety car is, I'm sure, because of the Andy Schultz, the orange BMW that lost its wheel at Hawthorne. Cars stopped just against the barriers there. There's the new Candy car into the pit lane. And when we get this situation of nearly everyone coming into the pit, it's very hard to keep exact track of who's been in and who's not. I assume probably that either this lap or next one, nearly everyone will come in. And when they come in, they have to stop at a 45-degree angle, approximately, and then they have to be pushed back down back into the pit lane to rejoin the race. And the reason they do that is because the pit lane is so tight here at Croft, as it is at many circuits actually. If you had all of the cars stopping at once and they're not doing that's a 45-degree angle,
The BMW that's lost the wheel, the 69 car, still showing it in 5th place at the moment because they were a long way ahead in that top group.
Yes, that will all unravel, won't it? You can see we've got a couple of vehicles now down there at Hawthorne, ready to try and scoop up the Schultz car. So safety car is leading them round. Well, Stacey is behind it. It will be interesting to see if the cars that are in this safety car train all dive into the pit lane this time.
Or indeed whether they're disadvantaged by this, because the pit lane's absolutely cramped.
Yeah.
And we come up towards the end of this pace car lap with the leader, and it'll be a little while before they get the BMW hooked up.
Well, I can see out of our window, yeah, Will Stacey's certainly going to peel in. Is there any car that's not? Yes, there is a car that's not, and that's the car that's already been in.
That's been already, hasn't changed.
That's the 79 car, the brown and gold car, the 188 car staying out, the Holden Commodore staying out. So I think essentially the cars that are staying out are ones that have already made a stop within the window.
And there's the Baker Swift number 1. It's gone through past us.
And everyone else has come in, so I'm pretty sure that will be everyone having made their stop. But it's extremely busy as I look to our left out of the commentary box window down to the pit lane now. we'll get some cars back on the track, because there's very few of them on the circuit at the moment. You can see the handful. What's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Yeah, just 7 cars. I think those probably all had made a stop that qualifies, because it was during the pit lane window before the safety car came out. The cars that stopped on the first opportunity are now trying to head back out. Possibly in some cases that might be made a bit more difficult by the cars that have arrived in the pit lane more recently, if it's sort of double parked, as it were. The Schultz car, meanwhile, is being JCB handled out of the way. They've got straps underneath the front of the car and lifting it up, and it's running on its rear wheels, and they're getting it onto the grass. Now, whether they're going to leave it somewhere on the infield for the moment and collect it later, or if they're going to get it all the way back to the paddock, which isn't actually that far from that part of the circuit. I'm not quite sure. I suspect they are going to pull it back to the paddock, but they want to over the grass in case it's spilling anything, which I don't think it is. But if it was leaking oil or whatever, then it would be beneficial to go over the grass again, so as not to get that on the circuit. So about 3 or 4 minutes away from the midway point of this race now.
It looked like it had planed the undertrail from underneath the engine, hadn't it, where it dropped on the BMW, something hanging underneath it, flat.
So, I guess there's not much point telling you the running order at the moment, because we'll have to wait for the for these pit stops to play out. There's a sort of queue of cars heading out of the pit lane now. There's a recovery truck on circuit as well, which wasn't needed in the end to recover the Schultz car. There is the Schultz car just being dragged into the deeper grass, into the rough. Not quite out of bounds yet.
Yeah, it's off the fairway into the rough. And fairly well up the order in that group that's been released is the Audi TT, which is one of the front-running cars, the Parkin and Blair car.
Yeah, so the cars that have been released will now try and sprint round to catch the group that's already behind the safety car. So the Schultz car is off the circuit now, but behind the barrier very shortly. And I wonder if we'll probably have one more lap, I guess, because the safety car lights are still on and it's almost at the complex. I think we'll have one more lap behind the safety car.
Yeah, the flat bears escaped. There's still a number of cars to come out of the pit lane.
Yeah, now are all of these going to get out before the safety car
the
comes
lights
through?
are still flashing on the safety car, so
these cars are going to have to wait until the safety car queues come past. I think they were probably hoping that they were going to get out before the safety car came.
That's going to be very frustrating for them, isn't it?
They lose a lap there. Effectively, all of these cars.
I think there's probably 15, 18 of them down there, something like that.
Yeah, they'll be getting into a queue. Who's that just coming in now? That's the 166 car. That is back in. That's Nicole Drought. That is going to be refueled. So she'll have to hop out of the car. So, 6 left to go in this race. Give it another lap or so, and the race order will start to make some sense. So we'll run you through that in a moment or two. Interesting to note how the overall positions have changed, but also those within the classes as well.
Just what about 3 minutes from halfway, something like that.
Yeah, at Donington 30 round, the class winners, Jonathan Packer, who's already retired from this race, won in Class B, and Johnny Hayes and Paul Subiani, who aren't here this weekend, won in Class C. There's new for this season a Clubman Cup as well, and that's for effectively cars that are a bit more venerable. I think more than 10 years old, effectively. And they have their own point system as well these days.
So the cars that were in the pit lane have now been released, those that were queuing anyway. The Beach and Grice Audi is just going to go out as well.
Yeah, I would think we'll see the safety car lights go off this time as well. So we'll be back into racing action. And blue skies at the moment. There is some grey cloud behind us again. So we'll see how we get another shower, which will throw a spanner in the works in the late stages of this race. The safety car lights are off, and so the race is going to get back underway. The first car behind the safety car is the number 79 car of Lance Gould and John Brown. Safety car does indeed pull in, and there's the green flag to get the race back underway at just before the halfway mark in this race.
Swift was back up to 7th, wasn't he? And that's going to look good for the Area Motorsport effort.
Yes, and there is Swift. There is sort of second on the road now. He's behind the Holden Commodore, which assumes the quote-unquote lead of the cars that have been released from behind the safety car.
Having only been off twice so
yes.
far.
So green flags waving all around the circuit.
So the lead car actually is non-stale than Kent, isn't it? It's 35 laps.
It is, yes. By 1.89 seconds from the Audi TT of Ryan Parkin and Adam Blair. Colin Gillespie is third in number 15. Fourth is number 49, William Stacey. He's now 12 seconds adrift. Fifth is Hutchinson and Venables in the BMW M4. And those are the only cars showing as having done 35 laps. The rest have all at least a lap down, it would seem. We'll just see if any more light is shed on that as they come through again at the end of the next lap. But if that's the case, we've got the 5 cars left on the lead lap after the pit stops and the safety cars.
Let's make quite an interesting thing. We've got Swift coming round next. He's shown us 6th currently, but we'll see exactly where he sits.
Yeah, I mean, he's effectively going to be nearly a lap behind, isn't he? So he's going to complete 35 laps now, and he is how far behind the leaders? Just wait for the screen to update itself. A minute 21, so that's virtually a lap, isn't it? Behind.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's Mike Nash, I think.
It is. It's he's struggling to get back into the pits.
Yeah, just stopped on the pit lane entrance there, more or less. There's a black flag for somebody. That'll be for some kind of pit lane infringement, I would think. Maybe speeding in the pit lane or something like that, which requires them to serve a stop-and-go penalty. Okay, I'll give you any news on that if we get it.
21. Much of that's probably going to be make-upable, isn't it? Because of the other cars that are currently ahead of it. So.
Yes, that's true.
But whether they'll get up to the likes of Parkin and Blair in that Audi you see there it's another matter.
They've got to make up basically more than a second a minute, haven't they?
Yeah.
Which probably is working out about a second and a half to 2 seconds a lap, which is a lot. Assuming
it's a lot if you're going to be consistent and do what you need to be.
14 car is the one that's getting the black flag. That's the Chris Freeman Golf. Now that is significant because he is the Class B leader. So that'll be for, I would think, a stop-and-go penalty for some reason. Maybe speeding in the pit lane. We'll not got any official confirmation of that, but it could be something like that. And that would hand the advantage to Scott Parkin within Class B once that is served, but also promote Steve Houston and Matt Fazy and Luke Handley as well, and perhaps others as well within Class B. So Chris Friedman leading Class B at the moment, probably not going to be doing so for much longer. There he is on screen now, but he's going to need to stop in the pit lane in the penalty area in the not too distant future. Now on to go or so in this race. A few drivers setting personal best laps. Hans Carl Swift did a personal best lap on the first lap. He did have a clear track ahead of him though.
He's 1:14 behind now rather than 1:21.
Well, talking about making up a second and a half a lap, he's made up 7 seconds on that lap. I suspect that will not be the case.
It's a kind of a bit of a false dawn, isn't it?
Exactly. It gives them a bit of hope, it gets them a bit closer, but so Still a long way to go. So almost exactly an hour of this race left now. With a rundown on the order. It is Parkin and Blair that have gone back into the lead in the Audi TT with 37 laps in the book. They're 2.2 seconds clear in car number 11 of number 38, the Peter Morsdale and Stephen Kent E46 M3. In third place is number 15 Colin Gillespie. In fourth place is number 49 Will Stacey, who's just going through shot there, and right behind him is the car that you can see, number 70. That's the Steve Hutchinson and Sammy Venables BMW M4. Then virtually a lap down. In sixth place is Carl Swift, number 1. He is the last car on the lead lap. Then in seventh place is number 14 Chris Freeman, who has not been into the pit lane that time to serve his stop and go penalty. Eighth is number 12 Scott Parkin. Ninth is number 13 Steve Houston and Matt Fazy. And 10th is number 51 Luke Handley. 11th is, and let's go down to Tom Butterworth in the pit lane.
Welcome down to the pit lane for the very first time today during the club enduro race. So it's been obviously frantic action from the get-go, but I'm joined here by your current Class B leader, just changed driver. It's Steve Houston. Steve, tell us all about how the race has gone for you so far, and then we'll ask about the car.
Well, exciting so far. We qualified 4th in class, so some good battles in the first part. The Class A cars are really hard to pass, but round here, because it's twisty, good braking sections, you know, we have a fighting chance. So really just icing it, mostly with the area motorsport Golfs. And we came in first in class, but we had a penalty from the last race for coming second in the last race. So I think we went to third, but now one of the cars had a penalty, so I think we're up to second.
Up to second and hunting down the race win. Fingers crossed for yourself, of course.
That's the plan. Matt's out there now. He's up against the dark side Golf at the moment, by the looks of things. That's his target. So, yep, that's the next thing.
Okay, so tell us about this Cayman. What's the history of it? How long have you had it for, and what have you been doing so far with it?
Well, I bought it about 2 years ago, just under 2 years, as a crashed road car and converted it to a race car. So basically all the stuff we've done, we've bolted together ourselves. I got some sponsorship from Intelligent Money, who also sponsor British GT. So they've given us a great deal of support and help, and that's really allowed me to get back into racing again, because I hadn't done much since 2018.
Okay, that's great. And the weather's looking a bit like it's on the turn, to be honest. The big dark clouds out there. How do you think Matt's going to go in the wet?
He'll be fine. Good weather for racing.
Okay, well, fingers crossed it stays dry for him, and fingers crossed it stays wet for him. Let's see. It'll be good for you either way. Thanks very much, and throw it back to the commentary team.
In the meantime, the 14 car has been in to stop, which is the Chris Freeman car to serve its penalty, which I think Steve Houston was referencing there in that interview with Tom Butterworth. The 166 Lotus, the Nicole Drought car, that's been in and out a couple of times now. Seeing on screen, and it's now right ahead of the Corton Miller car. I think it's going to head into the pit lane again, Nicole Drought. So that'll be her third pit visit for her. But that's the Corton Miller car for Will Caswell and Ben Rushforth that we're just seeing as well. Yeah, Nicole sweeping to the left and heading pitwards. So we've had the stop-go served now by Chris Freeman, who's going back out into the race. You can see it was not just a stop-go, it was a stop-go with a longish stop as well. So he's committed a misdemeanor of some kind and is now back out into the race. So Class B then, that is going to be led by Scott Parkin, but he's only about 2.5 seconds clear of Matt Fazy, who's now taken over the number 13 Porsche Cayman. And Luke Handley up to third place within that class. Class C, by the way, is being led in 25th place overall by number 3 Nick Dougal and John Munro. Second within that class, Roy Baptiste and Mark Lloyd Jones in the BMW E46 330i. And third within that class, Joel Osric and his teammate Dan Orsano in the BMW E36 328i. So that's the Class C situation. There's Ivan Mares in another of the Class C cars, the 316 325 Ti Compact.
Colin Gillespie's running a really good race, isn't he, in the 15? He's running second now overall, having overtaken the Molesdale and Kent car. He's only 5 seconds behind the leading Audi TT. Of course, had that dramatic moment very, very early on the second lap of the race.
A meatball flag being shown to car number 70. That's the Hutchinson and Venables cars. That's a big problem for them because they're in 5th position, and that's because there's a problem with the passenger window on that car. We think we have perspex window, but we think that's flapping in the breeze. So that's the reason for the meatball flag, the black flag with the orange spot that you can see on screen now.
Saw Nicole Trout climb out of the Elise a second ago. That's race run by the looks of things.
Now Will Stacey's trying to get sort of back on terms with the leaders here, but at the moment he's not lapping certainly as fast as the leading Audi. They're lapping the 129s. Stacey's lapping the 131s, which is about 4 seconds of what he's capable of.
Yeah, he's not that far behind Molesdale and Kent, which is the car we see there, the white BMW with the rear bumper flapping, or the end of the rear bumper flapping in fairness.
Yes, that's for position for 3rd and 4th, just behind the Holden Commodore that's been in various strife through this race so far.
Because the Holden Commodore has enormous grunt in a straight line.
It does. So difficult to pass through Croft.
That's a real Q car, isn't it? The 70 BMW Hutchinson and Venables, because problem for the Cayman.
Yeah, that's
Cayman's gone bang.
Matt Fazy car is out of the race, surely. Yes, he's going to pull off to the side of the road. So bad news for Steve Hewson, who we heard from in the pit lane. His car, I'm afraid, out of the race now. Matt Fazy, having come to a stop just on the approach to the complex there, saw some smoke coming from over towards Sunny, and that was the reason for that. So that's the car that was in 2nd place within Class B. So that will promote Luke Handley now into 2nd position. So 53 minutes now left to go. The stop go for number 14 was for overtaking under the safety car, we understand. So that's the reason for the penalty for Chris Freeman. There was a 1 minute stop go. 53 minutes left then, as we say. It's an 8-second lead for Ryan Parkin and Adam Blair over Colin Gillespie in 2nd. That smoke is still pouring out of the 13 car. The problem is where he stopped is the opposite side of the circuit to the marshal's post. So there's no marshals there to try and assist with that. So I'm wondering if this might result in another safety car. The number 73 car, meanwhile, has come into the pits. The 49 car of Will Stacey still can't get past the Molesdale and Kent BMW, but yes, there is now a marshal having to move from quite a long way away to try and get to that car. It was just a question of it being stopped really on the wrong side of the road. There's the marshal, who's I'm trying to work out where he's come from. Yes, he's had to come from all of the way around the sort of exit of the complex. Good couple of 100 yards he's had to run to get there with the fire extinguisher. The Commodore's in the pits, so too is Julian McBride. So these now will be some unscheduled stops for these drivers as well. There's the 12 car, that's the Scott Parkin car, leading Class B at the moment. About 14 seconds clear of Luke Handley, so it's the 2 Golfs, 1st and 2nd, within Class B at the moment.
Carl Swift has got down to a minute and 5 behind the leader.
There's the 70 car. Now that does have the meatball flag. You can just see there the passenger window, which is just perspex or whatever plastic, has just sort of popped out. And I think that's what's attracted the attention of the sort of officials watching on, and that will need to come in to get that either taped up or taken out or something.
There's Bridgeway, who was doing so well earlier in the race. He's attacking Luke Handley, but that's not for position. Bridgeway's quite some way down.
Yes, how far down exactly? 39th. He's done 31 laps. The leaders have done 44 now, so he's 13 laps behind. That's the Junior McBride car, the Jeff Stewart Racing Pro car. That looks like it's had some damage, and is the bodywork rubbing on the tyre? Maybe that's the issue down there. 50 minutes left. There's the leading car, the Parkin and Blair car.
Stacey up to third then.
Yes, he did get past them all today in Kent BMW. Lap
49 then, up into third place, and that's with on lap 44.
Oh, is that the
The Audi looks like it's smoking.
The leader's smoking. That's the race leading car. And it is still well. There's no smoke coming from it at the moment.
There was certainly evidence of it though when we first saw it, unless it came through just a huge cloud of smoke at Tower.
Oh, and now it's off the road at the exit of Sunny. It's a TFSI.
No, it is smoking.
engine.
It is smoking properly.
Yeah. So
that won't get any better, will it?
It's not going to, I don't think. I suspect that might be heading towards the pit lane as well. Just coming through the complex now. Let's see if he dives into the pit lane from the lead of the race. It's not been a race that anyone's wanted to lead for very long, it seems, this one.
It's continuing.
He is. Now it's a black flag being shown to the number 70 car. I presume that is, because they've not taken any heed of the black and orange flag so far. That's the Hutchinson and Venables car, which is about to go past the black flag this time. So there we go, black flag, no excuse for not seeing that, so it should come in this time, we will see. So, and on that lap, Parkin and Blair, despite the smoke, still did a 1:31.04, which was quicker than Gillespie in second, a similar lap time to Will Stacey in third, so whatever the issue is, it's not slowing that car. The 73 car, which that is now showing some signs of damage. The race leading car, Ryan Parkin and Blair. Ryan, who's 32 years of age, been racing only since 2018. Adam Blair with a bit more experience. There's the Nash BM Seat that's stopped in the same place again.
Yeah, it seems to cut out coming out of the hairpin.
Yeah.
Just,
It eventually does get it fired up again, but it's far from ideal that it's stationary exactly where it is.
Running in 20th place, that car was.
Yes, it's still shown in 20th on the screens. Gradually it's going to tumble down, obviously. So,
Goes Gillespie with the salt tyre on the side window.
And then Stacey's about 10 seconds behind him. It just went through his shot there. There's the Holden and also the 42 Lotus. That's the car shared by Paul Clark and the
Here comes the black flag car coming in quite quickly.
Well, as I said, he saw the black flag last time out. Yeah, the car we saw on the screen there was the Tom Gladys car. Tom Gladys ex FIA Formula 2 racer. And that sort of Jonathan Palmer era of the Formula 2 Championship. So the 70 cars in, they'll presumably, yep, I think they've probably already taped up the window or taken it out or something and got it back out into the race. So that's going to cost them, I don't know, 30 or 40 seconds probably by the time they've been into and out of the pit lane as well.
And there's Bridgeway going very slowly.
Yeah.
That's on the back straight.
Yeah, by the old pit lane, isn't it, over there? So
that's it, race run.
Yeah, he's going to turn in behind the marshal's post. At least he's going to be in a position of safety off the circuit.
Carl Swift within a minute and a few bits of change now. 0.26 of a second of the race leader. So he's making ground up with 46 minutes still to run in this race.
Yeah, he's been more or less making what he's needed to make up, hasn't he?
42 Lotus Elise is a very pretty car, isn't it? That's just gone through.
Yeah, that's the Paul Clark and Tom Gladys car. Yeah. So, still the leading Audis out there as well, despite the smoke. And still circulating very quickly at a 1:30 that time.
Leading the B class is Scott Parkin, teammate. also blowing out, I suppose, but that's
Yeah.
routine in that case.
Yeah, and he is clear of Luke Handley in second place within that class. Class C still being led by Dougal and Monroe, having a good run in the MX-5 this time, 23rd overall. And there they are on screen now as we talk about them. Quite sure who's in the car at the moment. 73 car is into the pit lane. That's the Seat that's had some damage as well. Stephen Duran and Scott Bunn car. It's not the first time that's been in the pits today by any stretch. Yeah, there's our Class C leader, and they are how far ahead of their nearest rival? About 50 seconds ahead of Roy Baptiste and Mark Lloyd-Jones in the BMW. There's the leader, the Darkside Developments Audi TT. And, yeah, still staying out there, not heading into the pit lane just yet.
48 laps down. Hutchinson and Venables lost just a couple places. They're still running 6th despite that stop, well ahead of Parkin and Handley.
Right, the 70 car went out of the pit lane very quickly, possibly too quickly, possibly hadn't had the authority to go back out. 5-second penalty as well for Michael Downey, car 76 in the Porsche Boxed S, down 19th and 6th or 7th or 8th in Class B, I think. I don't think it's going to make too much difference. 5-second penalty in a 2-hour race doesn't have the same impact as it does in a 15-minute race. So, into the final 3/4 of an hour of this race meeting here at Croft, the TEGIWA Club Enduro Championship on circuit for their second round of the season. Big grid, more than 40 cars we've had here at Croft this weekend. Great to see such a mouth-watering array of machinery as well. Next round for these cars is at no less a circuit than Spa on the 8th and 9th of July. It's good to have the Spa. And there's Rob Boston, who was due to be racing today, but his car...
It's going to run its bearings, didn't it, after the end of the race, which he finished really well up yesterday.
Yeah, that was in the road sports race. He was on the podium, wasn't he, in a class winner.
Yeah.
But not out, unfortunately, today. So 42 minutes of the race left to go. There's the 14 car. Now that's the car of Chris Freeman that was in the pit lane for the stop-go penalty. He's now 13th overall and he's actually 3rd within Class B behind Scott Parker and Luke Handley, but he is around about a lap adrift on the lead. There's that Pretty Lotus you were talking about.
Yes.
Unscheduled stop though. This should, well, they're refueling it. Maybe this, wow. I think they must have stopped, but maybe they've just realised that, well, maybe they just can't, they've not got a big enough tank to go all the way with just one stop. Which does significantly handicap you in these races. Because every refueling stop has to be 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 3 minutes. Oh, and that's the Browse car in trouble on the back straight. Paul and Luke Browse.
Just ran through the chicane, didn't
Yeah, looks like it's back up to speed now, doesn't it?
it? Yep. Stone Glass, specialists in bespoke glass installations and for big developments. Run by the Browse family.
Couple of stop-go penalties, we think, in the offing as well, which will be advised to the drivers, but I don't think anyone particularly important to the overall result, or indeed the class results of this race.
50 laps down for our first couple of cars. First 3 now, as Will Stacey's through.
There's the race leader on screen. His lead has actually increased to 12.83 seconds when parking Adam Blair. And that despite the smoke, it was a few laps ago. I'm not sure if it's been doing that consistently since then, which is a little bit odd.
No. Oh, there's a spin for the 76
That's the
Boxster.
That's the Michael Downey Boxster, for the man that works in the insurance, the CW Motorsport prepared car with the standard 3.2 litre Porsche engine.
Oh, Swift still 61 seconds behind 38, charging along Molesdale and Kent still with that flappy bit of back bumper, but it's all very solidly mounted in the middle.
There's only 0.6 of a second between Colin Gillespie and William Stacey now, and they are just about to come over the line again to complete their 51st lap. So I don't know if we can pick those two up. They're just going through Clervaux Corner now. We're watching at the moment the Molesdale and Kent car, which has right behind it Scott Parker in the Class B leader, although this isn't for position. There's a sort of lap between them.
Yeah.
There is the, oh, it's a change, it's a change. Stacey's gone through. Hawthorne, I think, to take second place away from Colin Gillespie, who fights back with more grunt in a straight line. It's going to be on the outside line for Tower Corners. That Holden Commodore in the way as well. It gets very tight around there. Will Stacey somehow just slips that little Lotus back through, gets past both of them.
He was having nothing of it. He was relying on Gillespie not wishing to contact the Commodore.
Yeah.
And so it was all kind of nicely done between the pair of them. But clearly the Seat has a lot more straight line performance, but the Lotus has the handling. With that amazing Venturi hanging out the back of it, which a vast piece of aluminium.
It does. Hutchinson and Venables in the number 70 car, who had to make that stop because they had the black and orange and then the black flag. That is now having done a personal best after racing, 129.17. The only other driver to do a PB on that lap was the Holden, actually a 133.06 for either Matty Taylor or Will Ashmore, whichever driver it is aboard that car at the moment. Some of the best lap of the race, I think, to Andy Schultz, who retired some time ago with the wheel off his or off Martin Hampson's BMW. So there's Gillespie now, down to third position, 1 3/4 seconds behind Will Stacey, who's 14 seconds behind the leader. Can Stacey do anything about the Parkin and Blair car? I mean, that's been lapping fairly consistently in the 129s now, that leading Audi.
Yeah, Stacey's got away from the car we see on the screen, the white and gold car of Colin Gillespie, the Scot. There's Porsches in the past.
Stacey in number 49.
It's a fair old ask. A bit over 2 hours on your Todd in a car, isn't it?
It is. I mean, thankfully, it's actually relatively cool today, on a hotter day. They take an awful lot out of you, I would think. You can see that out of my window, Carl Swift is trying to get past one of the other Seats down at Tower Corner. He's got the gap down to, it is still about a minute, I think, to the race leader.
Beach and Grice are back up into the top 10.
Yeah, they are, and only just behind Luke Ham though, but he's in the Class B car, they're in Class A. The problem is they're sort of a lap and a bit adrift, aren't they, of the race leader. Just watching the 70 car of Venables and Hutchinson, which had to make that pit stop. There's the car which we're talking about, the Beach and Grice car, number 27, in 10th position.
And is now ahead of Luke Hanley by a margin.
Yeah, as you'd expect, so I think to 9th then, in fact. Luke Hanley still second within Class B though, well behind Scott Parkins, number 12 for Diesel Golf, Turbo Diesel Golf I should say. there's the 79 car, the brown and gold car that we've seen into the pits a couple of times. That car is running in 19th position at the moment. There's a 10-second penalty been applied to 188, which is Graham Kelly. So that takes his running total to 15 seconds now in this race. So that'll be track limits infringements, but he's running down in 31st position anyway, and is 5th within Class C. So not particularly well up the order. 92 is the car on screen at the moment. That is the Phil Nib, Andrew Rath's Leon. There's the 70 car, the BMW M4 going through. And there's Beach and Rice once again in number 27 in 9th position. Now they've got about 7 seconds to make up on that Nib and Rath Seat. That's the Luke Handley car we're seeing there, and he is in 10th place and 2nd in Class B. He's got quite a gap over Chris Freeman, who is 3rd within that class at the moment. Chris Freeman actually just in his personal best lap of the race, a 1:31.07, as he's trying to make up for that 1 minute pit stop penalty that he had to serve for overtaking behind the safety car. Will Stacey's just gone past the commentary box, I can tell you, and what's the gap now between himself and the race? It's down to 5.62 seconds. It was a slow lap that time for Parkin and Blair, but then they've done a slightly better lap. No, sorry, I beg your pardon. The slow lap last time they were 1:34.74, so they lost 4 seconds on that lap. So Will Stacey now is closing on the lead. He's not sure if we can pick up the race-leading Audi TT on the live stream. There it is. But he's got Will Stacey right with him now, so I think there's a problem for the race-leading car here. We saw it smoking probably about 10 laps ago, didn't we, Marcus?
Absolutely, and now it's been caught and shows no sign of being able to tear away. It's not going slowly, but it's just relative to its previous pace.
Well, it's lost nearly 5 seconds on this lap alone, because Stacey was 5.6 seconds.
He's not limping,
behind.
that's
no,
the point.
Not.
So he's hanging in there, but Stacey has a whiff of victory. Stacey's a lot quicker off the corner there than the Audi.
Coming down towards the complex on lap 56 of the race. Two of them pretty much nose to tail now. Wonder if it's a problem through the slower corners for the Audi. Stacey goes to the right-hand side of the circuit. Is he going to drive all the way around the outside here at the hairpin? Well, he can't do that. He's all over the curb.
Now it's not pulling.
It's not pulling.
Audi.
That's the problem for the Audi. It's out of the
fuel pickup problem or something like that.
Fuel pickup out of the slow corners, isn't it? And so, in a out of the corner, Will Stacey can just drive past him. So Will Stacey it is now that takes the lead of the race in number 49 with 32 minutes of the race left to go. At the end of lap 56, Will Stacey now leads this race. We've had a few different leaders so far, haven't we?
That's right. Gillespie 7 seconds behind the Parkin Blair TT. So Gillespie in the 15, which we can see closing in, and there goes Gillespie taking the place on the back straight. Yeah, the Audi's in trouble, serious trouble.
Yeah, it's getting worse, isn't it? It's not just off the slow corners. You can see, I think, him looking down into the cockpit to see if there's something he can do to sort this out. But I suspect that Dark Side Developments car is going to be into the pits at the end of this lap to see. And also in trouble
That's
is
the Molesdale car.
Yeah,
isn't
it is the Molesdale and Kent, number 38 in 4th position.
Asphyxiated by the black smoke from the number 12, the class-leading car, and
that's slowing as well. That's also in trouble. So the two parking cars, the Dark Side Development cars, they seem to have, well, they are twins.
It's almost by telepathy.
It is.
That's a lot more black smoke than we'd seen before.
There's a bumper unidentified that's sort of been washed up on the beach at Clairvaux.
Is it the front one of the? I think it could be the front one of the of Molesdale and Kent.
It could be.
Has it clobbered the?
I wonder if it's clobbered the back of the Golf, which has been going slow. But that Dark Side Developments car, it looks like they're both going to be out of the race, doesn't it?
It does.
sort of limping its way around. So Will Stacey's gone through again. He's got a 10-second lead over Colin Gillespie. Stacey's just done a lap in the 29s. First time he's done that for a while. But he's staying out there. That's a bit bizarre. Because it's not going to get any better, I shouldn't have thought. Not by driving it round. Oh, it's surely can't drive around at that speed for points for the next half an hour. I suppose he could do. Maybe that's what he's thinking about. But his that lap time for Parkin Blair was a 1:56, so 26 seconds or so slower than what he has been doing. There's the 12 car. Now, is this going to come into the pits? The second of the Dark Side development cars.
Got quite a big lead over Luke Handley in that class. It is coming in.
It is indeed coming in. So that will hand the lead to 51 VW Golf of Luke Handley. It will mean that Christopher Plaskett goes up to second place in Class B and Chris Freeman to third. So that's a change around there. Let's go down to the pit lane once again. Tom Butterworth.
Welcome back down to the pit lane. I'm with Nick Dougill, who has been piloting the Mazda MX-5 that's currently heading Class C at the moment. Nick, how's the race been going for you so far?
Well, very well. We're in quite a rare position because we were doing well in 2019, and then the car was reshelled, and we lost about 4 seconds a lap pace, and we've been struggling and struggling to try and find where the problem is, and we at last seemed to crack it. So we were here, and it just felt that bit quicker on Friday practice, but it wasn't as quick as we thought, and we wondered whether the track was slidey or not, and we thought the track was greasy. We weren't as quick as we were, but apparently we were quick enough. So yeah, we're heading the
Tightened her up and away she went.
Yeah, and it's rare for me because normally I'm fitting tyres. I'd fit the tyres, so normally people come the last 5 minutes before the race. Can you do that? So John Monroe, my teammate, always starts and just sort of does his superstar driving stuff and leaves me to make a mess of it at the end. So it's quite good to start.
And John's out there now into the final half hour as well. How are the nerves holding up?
I'm talking to you, I'm not thinking about it. I'll start thinking about it in a bit. But yeah, he's got a good lead. He's a good... We've got a good lead, I think. I think we've got a good lead, unless it's all gone wrong in the last 5 minutes. So.
Well, we'll find out, won't we? But good luck for the final half hour, and I hope it all comes home for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's Nick Dougill there, and I'll hand back to the commentary team.
Thank you very much indeed. Phil Driver is training his bumper behind him. You can see on screen there. You know, I said that the Audi TT it wasn't going to get any better. Well, it did stay out there, and it did get better. Last lap was a 1:33 compared to a 1:56 on the previous lap, so maybe the Parkin and Blair Dockside Developments car will be able to stay out in the race and gather some reasonable points, but is now only 13 seconds ahead of Carl Swift. So Carl Swift looking good for a podium position, and this time past our commentary box, the Darkside Audi is slow again. So that could all change around once more.
That's the Molesdale and Kent BMW. That explains the front bumper, which is lying in the gravel at Clervaux.
It's not going to handle so well.
Doesn't have much turn anymore, does it?
It doesn't. Strange that. So we'll watch out for that.
Luke Handley into the top 10 again with the 51. Here leading Class B. He's got 25 seconds over Chris Plaskett. He's got about, that's about a half a minute over Chris Freeman. Here's the Audi again. Looks like it's going okay.
It does at the moment, but it's very much an intermittent issue, it seems. The 38 car is into the pits as well. The BMW with the front bumper that's vanished. That's the Molesdale and Kent car. So that's going to, well, it's going to retire from 6th position, or it's certainly going to pit from
Carl Swift, with 26 minutes to go, is 42 seconds off the lead.
Yes, that's he is closing in, and he's continued to do it at a good rate. Phil Driver's coming in with that bumper that's hanging off.
Very tatty, that rear bumper. Rip that off, won't it?
I would think so. Yep, that's exactly what they've done.
It's not worth saving, that's for sure.
Right, and he goes back out into the race. C3 Motorsport team there trying to sort that out as quickly as they could. 25 minutes left here. And is this going to be Will Stacey's race? He's 10 seconds clear at the moment of Colin Gillespie in second place. They're both lapping the 131s at the moment. The Audi on that last lap was in the 136s, and Carl Swift behind was in the 128. So Carl Swift was actually only about 4 seconds behind the Audi. Now, in fact, he's now ahead of the Audi, you can see, out of our commentary box window. The Audi trying to fight back, though, at Tower Corner, and doesn't manage to do so, and it's slow out of the corner. But Carl Swift is now up to third position. The Audi TT of Parkin and Blair down to fourth. So Carl Swift now only about 36 seconds behind the leaders, I reckon. Been taking a bit more time out of them on this lap. There is the number 11 car we're talking about. It just seems to be an intermittent problem out of the slow corner, so it could well be fuel pickup. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It's been an eventful old race for that number 11 car, that's for sure. Heading its way through the complex. Once again, working lap 61 of the race. The two brothers are together, the twins, and Scott is going to overtake Ryan, or Adam, whichever it is, at the wheel at the moment. Adam Blair. But the two Darkside development cars were together briefly. The 12 car is still there in 14th position. It is now down to 4th place within Class B because Christopher Plaskett, who's been going well, and Chris Freeman have both gone ahead. Christopher Plaskett in the number 91 car.
And the Audi's just been gobbled up by the Hutchison and Co BMW.
And that's for position as well,
yes.
for 4th as well. And indeed the next car then that may get past, he's going to do so shortly actually, is the Neb and Rath. Well, that's a lap down, isn't it? But it's actually just behind the car on circuit, I think, as it happens.
Yes.
There it is, the two of them in shot together. But that's to unlap itself rather than for position.
It is bizarre, isn't it? Because the Audi is tolerably fast in some parts of the circuit, then it just struggles out of the slow corner.
Behind the Audi, there is a battle for position, though. That is between the Neb and Raf Leon and the Audi RS3 of Beach and Grice. So we think it's Will Beach in that car at the moment. So that there, on the screen now, is a battle for position with 22 minutes to go.
Yeah, battle for 6th overall.
Yes, that's right.
I think it's sorted. Because up into this chicane, up to the head on the inside, Beach and Grice and the Audi have got through.
Yeah, they have.
Past Nib and Andrew Rath.
And also past the Audi TT as well, which is really limping around now. Sure. Well, I suppose they will just try and get it home for points. Could be all important at the end of the season. Right, Scott Park is also limping his car around as well in Class B. Will Stacey just past our commentary box to complete his 63rd lap. I think he's getting away, if anything, from Colin Gillespie in second place. And then it's Carl Swift that's going to be in third position. Just heading through the complex now behind us. We're watching that that 92 car, the Nib and Raff set down TCR. It's down to 7th place now and will possibly fall into the clutches of the Caswell and Rushworth version before the end of the race. That car's about 8 seconds behind.
Yeah, that car was going well earlier on before it's stopped marginally before the pit window.
That's right. So we'll see if that car can come into contention for 7th place before the end. Luke Handley in 9th place, still leading Class B. Oh, Oh, and off the road has gone the 188 car of Graham Kelly. He's also had 15 seconds worth of time penalties in this race. Off the circuit he's gone again, I'm afraid. In his BMW. There's the race leader, Will Stacey. And just behind him on the road at the moment is the McGann, and then you've got the 53, which is the Crown Paints liveried Joel Oswick and Dan Orsano car. The Elite Works Car X BMW Car Club Racing Championship car with the M52 engine in. Joel, one of the drivers, is 19, race technician, second season of racing. Into the last 20 minutes we go then here at Croft in this TEGIWA Club Enduro Championship race. The second round of the season. Looks like we're going to have a different winner to round one, when it was Carl Swift that took the victory. He's 40 seconds behind, just under 40 seconds behind the leader, Will Stacey, at the moment.
And up into 10th is the Browse and Browse Stowmarket Glass BMW, the bright green one.
Yeah,
Has about 13 seconds over Plaskett in the second of the Class B cars. Funny, isn't it? The number 12 Darkside Golf Diesel now running cleanly again.
The number 188 car of Graham Kelly is getting a drive-through penalty, by the way, after his various moments during the course of this race. And problems there. That's for number 4. That's the TWP Lotus Elise of Reese Lysett, the XF1000 racer, and Steve Brockington, the former rally man. So that's come to grief. I also spotted, I think it was for the car that's second in Class C, the Roy Baptiste and Mark Lloyd Jones BMW, I thought it was. Yeah, just coming through shot now. Has that got some... The bonnet's just coming up, isn't it, on the number 98 car that's second within Class B. And that's certainly going to attract the attention of the officials, because if that flies up, as it may well do as the air gets underneath it, it's going to be straight into the windscreen and smash that. I imagine it's just not been fixed down properly, or if it was that...
Or the clip's pinned out.
Yeah. Oh, and there's a problem. That's one of the tyre stacks having gone for a burst after a collision with the 881 car, the Lewis Rose and Aaron Rose Honda Civic from Class B. You can see that's quite heavily damaged where it's collected that tyre stack. Very... It's looked like it's landed on the bonnet, doesn't it? The tyre stack there, so possibly it's flicked up by another car, maybe? Or maybe not. We didn't see the start of that incident, but that car is now in a ropey position sort of at the second part of Clairvaux.
Double wave yellow is currently covering that. There's a big sign going out there as well. Another drive-through penalty for somebody.
Yeah, that's the Graham Kelly penalty. That's the 98 car being passed by 51, which is Luke Handley, the Class B leading Golf, ahead of the second place in Class C BMW. The treble 8, the McGann, has stopped, and also the car off in the field as well. One of the Golfs has gone off. The treble 8 is the McGann. We could see that one, Graham Price and Jason Hennifer, and couldn't make out the number on the Golf. So I don't know if we can get a better view of
McGann's
that.
going again. Dark blue and striped Golf.
Perhaps we can get our cameraman to zoom in on that. There's the Rose car. Well, the driver's still in it at the moment.
It's safer to remain in it than
possibly so.
running away.
Safety car boards are out now, which is not a surprise. There we go. It's the 99 car, isn't it? So that's Joe Williams in his Golf. He's okay, I think. The car's ended up in the oilseed rate.
Yeah, he's sort of surveying it.
It's smouldering.
Smouldering a bit at the front.
Yeah, might be wise for the marshals to check that out.
There's a concept here, because one, Carl Swift, is going to gain a lot of ground, one suspects, on Stacey and Gillespie.
There'll be traffic, won't there, between his car and the cars in front. But yes, the gaps will shorten somewhat. Got the medical car out there as well as the safety car, so let's just check what the drivers. The 70 cars into the pits now. That's one of the front runners as well from 4th place, Hutchinson and Venables. Venables in the car at the moment. Now that's one that had to come in for the flapping window earlier on, and now it's for mechanical issue. So the medical car stopped down there with a Rose car just to make sure the driver there is okay after that quite heavy impact. By the looks of it, with the tyre stack there that marks the corners at Clairvaux. So the safety cars picked up the Mini, which is the Jones Mini, isn't it? That's well down the field. Yeah, 29th position for the Class C Mini Cooper S. The 70 cars, it was very smoking very badly, and that has now retired from the race. Some cars coming in. 73 I can tell you is in, and so too is 98. 98 is the Baptiste and Lloyd Jones car. That I imagine was just to get that bonnet fixed down while there's a safety car.
This is interesting. It's gone the other way, the pace car, because Gillespie is now 50 seconds behind, having been 15 seconds behind.
So it has the safety car.
It's advantage the leader currently, but of course, potentially, if there is time and inclination, there'll be a wave through, recapture the leader.
There's only 14 minutes to go, though, isn't there?
Yes.
In this race, and we've got the medical car on circuit. I don't know if the Golf I can see actually behind us is still in the field. It's the 99 car. They don't appear to be looking to do anything with that. The focus does seem to be on the Honda Civic of the Roses down there at Clairvaux towards Hawthorne. So there's the race leader, number 49, William Stacey. So he's now behind the safety car. So the safety car has got the lead, so that's worked out okay.
So the leader is on lap 68, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right.
As is the pursuer, Gillespie. Swift is 7 seconds behind Gillespie.
Well, one of the problems here is there is, and is that actually Swift that's leading that group down there at Clairvaux, but there's a big gap, isn't there, between the chunk of them behind the safety car and then the next car. Just get your binoculars on that, Marcus.
Yeah, there's the
it's
the Mini,
that's
isn't it?
the Mini. So
58 Mini.
Yeah, and if Carl Swift's in the queue behind that, that's not going to help him, is it? I don't think he is. I can't see him there. So
it's helping the Audi TT get to the end, that's for sure.
Yes.
Carl Swift is here in this group, I would say. Yes, there he is, turning into the hairpin. And this is when we'll see everything wind out, won't we? Lap 68, because there is the leader. There is P2 behind him in the lineup. We've got a race now between some tractors and some JCBs and a flatbed.
Yes, it's with 12 minutes left on the clock. They might, I suppose they've...
Yes, it's down to 1.07 seconds between 1 and 2.
Yeah, and 7.8 between 1 and 3. So if we can get this cleared up and out of harm's way, then we could be in for something of a grandstand finish here.
The Audi is on the lead lap still, I think, isn't it? No, it's a lap behind. As we go through in this line, it is on the lead lap, but it's a long, long way behind.
The number 70 car retired with an engine issue. The treble 8 car has retired. That's the Prince and Hennef car. It was taken by, well, I say by one of the TCR cars, but it's
by the Golf.
That's not a TCR car,
no, but it kind of
looks like one. So
they might have thought.
Yeah, unless there was another car that got involved with both of them, and potentially. But anyway, that's why that car's out of the race.
Beach and Grice are now 5th, aren't they?
They are.
But they are a lap behind. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so the 11 car is still on the lead lap, isn't it? But 52 seconds behind at present. Right. Sort of secondary group.
Levenrath are right behind Beach and Grice.
a will to try and get this race back underway. They
Yeah,
just need
they're
to.
absolutely right behind, and Caswell and Rushworth are right behind them.
Yep. So potentially you're going to have a battle for first and a battle for fifth.
Fifth, absolutely.
In this whatever time we have.
Luke
once the race gets back underway.
still leads B, doesn't he? He's on 56 laps.
Yeah, he's now 7 seconds clear of Christopher Plaskett in another of the area motorsport Golf GTIs.
With the Browse BMW between them.
Yeah. And Chris Friedman is third of the Class B cars. They are now going to hook up the number 99 car, which is the Joe Williams car, the Williams race team, Volkswagen Golf, in his first season of racing ex-Auto Grasser. And this is the ex-Beach and Grice car that's been fully rebuilt. That's the Rose Civic, the ex-Civic Cup car, which is now looking very second-hand indeed. Self-prepared by Aaron Rose, so he'll have some work to do, or Lewis Rose should say, he'll have some work to do to get that back out again.
Back on a jig, won't it, or reshelled potentially.
Yeah.
It's taken a big whack right by the A pillar.
That's right.
On the passenger side.
Yeah.
That's the back position, isn't it? Those three cars together.
That's right.
I think it saved the TT in that it's a lap ahead of anyone else, still running fourth.
Yeah. I think we're nearly clear down at the Clairvaux end of the circuit now. They're just pulling that Civic out of the way, and I think that's good to go. They just need to clear the Williams Golf now from sort of the Jim Clark S's part of the circuit. And we've got 8.5 minutes, so we're probably only going to have 3 laps maybe after the restart at most. I would think, maybe 2. I think with that in mind, that might not give enough time for. I don't think it'll give Colin Gillespie a chance. I think I'd favour of the 2, Carl Swift to get ahead of Will Stacey rather than Colin Gillespie, I think, in those circumstances.
I think there might be a change for second. I
Yeah.
do wonder about first and second, but we've seen how the quicker saloons, or the saloons so much quicker on the straights, can go out of the blocks in comparison to the Little Lotus.
The Williams car's being released, and it's under its own steam. Going to head presumably back round to the pits. Just needed hooking up to get out of the. Oh, and he's going to pull off at. Oh, he's just going to drive around the outside at Sunny and pull off behind the barrier there, presumably.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where he's been directed to go. So that should mean that we'll get the safety car in at the end of this lap. So that's going to give us maybe 5 minutes, which is going to be 3 laps, isn't it?
Yep, looks like it.
By the time it comes back round. So grandstand finishing prospects. Class C. Nick Dougal and John Munro, even 64 laps they've completed. The next car in their class is the Baptiste and Lloyd Jones car, which had to complete. They've only completed 62 laps, so they've got a 2-lap advantage effectively in Class C. So it would have to go very badly wrong. Now the tractor's back out again, doing its work in the field. Farmer's work is never done. And that's just beyond Tower Corner.
Six and 40 minutes to go. There are 1 and 2 absolutely together, and Colin Gillespie's got a sort of that steely look on his face.
Oh yeah, he's gonna. Well, he knows that he's got probably one chance here. If he lets Stacey get away at the restart, then he might not be able to catch
The
him.
lights are off on the safety car. This is lap 70. This will remain. The order must remain until the line.
We might even squeeze 4 laps out of this.
It's possible. And Stacey's gone. He just absolutely knows that he's got to nail it out of the understeer from the second place car. Here's Stacey. He's got his foot down now, and he clears the line. Swift still in that next little pack of cars. Over the line, it's 2.28, wasn't it? But this time round, when it comes up, 0.57.
Yeah, and those two have gone because there's back markers then between themselves and Carl Swift. But
Yes.
so Carl Swift will need to sort of pluck his way through. I think he's got a couple more back markers between himself and the front two. But Stacey, through that twiddly bit, he's got away from
But this is where it will
Gillespie.
show. If it's going to show at all.
Yeah, Gillespie is able to close on the long back straight down towards Tower, but he's not going to get close enough to attack there.
It's kind of 4 or 5 lengths at Tower, isn't it? And he's bouncing the inside front wheel off the deck going through Tower as Colin Gillespie.
Swift's got back past one of those slower cars, which I think was actually the Browse BMW, which is in 9th position overall. So he's just got one more back marker between himself and these two, the two leaders, with 4.5 minutes to go. So probably actually 3 more laps to go at the end of this one, I think. Look how busy this part of the circuit is. It involves Chris Coomer, who got back out into the race again after a long pit visit. It also includes the number 11 car, Parkin and Blair, who are still 4th, but a lap down, or not. Well, actually, they're not a lap down. They're 25 seconds behind the leaders now, helped by that safety car.
But the Elise that was off a few laps ago seems to be all right again.
It does, doesn't it? That's the TWP car of Reese licensed Luke Rockington.
I think that's your answer.
Yeah, Will Stacey's coming through with a big lead at the end of the first lap of the restart, so 0.57 seconds has become, let's wait for the screen to update, 2.82 seconds now, the gap between Stacey and Gillespie.
And it's still 7.4 between the leader and Carl Swift in 3rd place.
Look how busy that was, with the 100 car having spun as well. That's the 166 car, sorry, Nicole Drought, isn't it, I think? Let's have the spin there. So we've got Stacey in the lead, we've got Gillespie in 2nd, Swift now is 3rd car on the road as well, but he's 7.86 seconds behind the leaders with 3 laps to go. At 5th looked pretty spicy as well, didn't it? And that's actually among these cars
and
now.
And the nib car is going back, isn't it? It's going back. There's a touch there between the two sensors, but that's a change of position. Number 2, which is Caswell and Rushworth, coming back past Nib and Raff.
They're into 6th place now.
That's going past the class-leading Mazda, aren't they?
The Audi of Beach and Grice, the RS3, is a little bit further up the road, so that's not really going to come into it. There's the Class B number 12 car, Scott Parkin as well. He's back to 4th, wasn't he, within that class? Class B still being led by Luke Handley.
Well, that's brought them back from 2 minutes odd behind, or whatever it was. No,
Yeah.
a minute odd behind, almost a lap, to much closer. 70 laps down for the Audi at the moment.
2 minutes 30 to go. Will Stacey's just crossed the line, so it is going to be 2 more laps. There's the 12 car up on the inside of 92. That's not for position, but the 92 car, as a result of all that, has run out off the road. Phil Nib and Andrew Raff. So still in 7th place, I think, because they've got a lap in, a minute plus in hand on anybody else. But nevertheless, they have been off the road there, which I'm not sure if the team's pleased with.
Yeah, 2.3 seconds now between 2nd and 3rd. Carl Swift in number 1, closing in on Colin Gillespie.
Yeah, that time he did a 1:27.79, only 300ths off his best time, whereas Gillespie did a 1:30.40. So we could have a change for 2nd place before the end here. I think Will Stacey, barring any mechanical issues, is looking pretty good for the honours. Still exciting tussles going forward.
Off at the... Well, that's the parked, isn't it? Early on, yeah.
Porsche that's been there for half the race, pretty much, yeah.
I saw one over the top of the barrier.
Yeah, so we're going to see, I think, that's the set battle for 2nd and 3rd on screen now, because Carl Swift is right with Colin Gillespie as they come into the complex. They are almost overlapping there. Can Carl Swift thread up the inside? He tries to do that, takes a lot of the curb in doing so. Still right there with Colin Gillespie to the right-hand side at the hairpin. He'll try and get the tighter line on the exit of the corner and then power past. No, he's actually going on the outside, and he's all over the grass, Carl Swift, on the exit of the hairpin. And he gets back on circuit. And this is the last lap now. The last lap board has gone out to Will Stacey in the lead of this race. He's more than 5 seconds clear now but second place still to be decided. They're down at Clairvaux, and it's still anyone's race.
This is tremendous. What a climax this is to the TEGIWA Club Enduro.
There's Stacey well out in front now. See if we can pick up the battle for second. That's heading down towards Tower Corner. Here they
Still
are.
as it was.
Yep. And Swift trying a different line here again, trying to get the tighter line on the exit. But Gillespie able to hold on. Half a lap to go.
Yeah, Gillespie doesn't look like he's going to be a pushover, does he? There's some more cars ahead of them. Round the outside comes Carl Swift. Looks, tucks back in. They go past a lap car. Down into Sunny. Gillespie just wants to kind of hog the centre of the track. He's going to hold on to the second place. He's not going to catch the Lotus.
He's not. Well, Stacey it is that's already at the hairpin, a good few seconds ahead of these two. There is Gillespie. There is Swift. It's all going to be about the run to the line. But Will Stacey comes through and takes the checkered flag to win round 2 of the TEGIWA Club Enduro Championship of 2022. It is going to be number 15, Colin Gillespie, in second place. Number 1, Carl Swift takes third position. And then we are going to see in fourth place the Audi, I think, of Parkin and Blair. That's a little way back though, 41 seconds back. In the meantime, we've got our Class B winner over the line, I think, to take the checkered flag in number 51, Luke Handley. So he's taken the Class B victory from Christopher Plackett in second place within Class B, and Chris Freeman in third. Up to the line comes the Audi now to... Oh, and it's slow out of the hairpin again. The number 11 Audi is still going to come through to take fourth position. Unfortunately, our screen's frozen. I don't know if it's frozen for anyone else that's watching the stream at the moment.
Still on the site, still on the lead lap, just the Audi in fourth place.
On the lead lap. Has the TWP Mazda come through to take the Class C win?
Beach and Grice in 27, they're fifth, but closing on them was the Caswell and Rushworth car in sixth. They got ahead of Niven and Rafi, had a quite exciting last few laps over the grass in various places. And then Luke Handley is the winner of Class B. He's on 72 laps. And, he's in 8th place overall. 9th were the Browse, Perry Feast, Peter and Luke Browse, the big BMW. Second in B, Chris Plaskett in the area cars. That's the number 91 Golf. And he was only 3 seconds ahead of Chris Freeman with Scott Parkin 4th. And Tidmarsh and the little Janetta of Tidmarsh was 13th overall ahead of Drybrook. That's not through. That's right. Placed the back, or removed the back bumper of his Porsche.
So the car's heading into the pit lane. Will Stacey pleased with his victory? First victory for him this season in the TEGIWA Club Enduro Championship. The results then. It is number 49, William Stacey, that takes the win. 74 laps completed. We might have gone 75 without that late safety car. He won by 4.56 seconds in the end from number 15, Colin Gillespie, in second place. In third place was number 1, Carl Swift. In fourth place was number 11. That was the car of Ryan Parkin and Adam Blair, 47 seconds behind the leader. In fifth place, 27. That was Will Beach and Mark Rice. They were the first car not on the lead lap. Of course, they had to start from the pit lane after the extinguisher went off in the car before the race. Sixth place to number 2, Will Caswell and Ben Rushworth. Again, they had to make an early stop before the mandatory window that stymied their chances. Seventh place to number 92, Phil Nibb and Andrew Raff, another of the Seat Leons that have taken 5 of the first 7 places. Eighth, the Class B winner, number 51, Luke Handley in Volkswagen Golf. Ninth, number 22, the car of Paul and Luke Browse, the BMW, and then the second of the Class B cars in 10th place was number 91, Christopher Plaskett. In 11th place, it was number 14, Chris Freeman, and he was third in Class B. 12th to number 12, Scott Parkin in the Golf TDI. 13th was number 8, Matthew Tidmarsh and Chris Webster in the Janetta G40. 14th was number 16, Phil Driver in the Porsche Boxster. 15th, number 4, the Lycett and Brockington Elise. 16th, number 53, 3. And actually, yes, at the end, the Class C victory did change hands then. Joel Oswick and Dan Asano in the BMW E36 328i getting the Class C victory in the end, beating the Dougal and Monroe Mazda MX-5 by 5 seconds, as it turned out. Because they were 18th in car number 3, and between them was the 17th place car number 117, Martin Gadsby. In 19th place was number 79, that was Gould and Brown, and in 20th place, number 46, that was the Taylor and Ashmore Holden Commodore. And then 21st was Fenwick, 22nd, Baptiste and Lloyd Jones, 23rd, the Jones Mini, 24th, the Hutchinson and Venables BMW, 25th, the Clark and Gladys Lotus Elise, 26th Chris Coomer, 27th, we're getting to the cars that didn't make it to the end now, because Lewis and Rose, Rose and Rose, Williams, Mares and Morton and Kent did not make it to the end.
So the Class C, Oswick and Asano's late thing, looks like they've taken benefit from that situation with the pace car here.
Absolutely, yes, that's...
There's only 8 seconds split them at the end.
Yeah, no, it was all a very last-minute change there in Class C. So those the results, and from Marcus and myself up here in the commentary box, we will say goodbye, and we will hand down to hear interviews and to close the programme from Tom Butterworth.
Okay, welcome back down to the pit lane. Yeah, welcome back down to the pit lane here. The TEGIWA Tools Club Endurance has just finished. William, take us through how that race went for you. Late safety car drama as well. All your fanboys and girls are getting involved as well. Late safety car drama. Talk us through how it went for you.
It was good. Like the start, I started quite a bit further back in 10th, and I managed to get an amazing start. Don't know what happened, and I was sort of getting the gap, and then the safety car came out earlier on in the race and caught us out, and we were about 15 seconds off. But I think the Audi in the lead had a bit of a problem, and we were quicker, caught up, got past them. Massive gap. I thought it was all sorted. Then we got the safety car last minute, and I had the TCR behind me. The car behind me was second position, and he's a lot quicker down the straight. So I just had to try and back him up and get a good run through the last complex, where I'm a bit quicker to get the gap on him, and I managed to get the gap. And once I had the gap, it was all right.
Yeah, just pulled it out over that last sort of lap and a half. I think they were battling behind as well, which sort of, I bet you were rubbing your hands together with glee.
Yeah, I know. When they slow each other up, it's brilliant. Try and make them slow themselves up.
Well, brilliant. Congratulations on the win. Well deserved. Fantastic result.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
So that's William Stacey, your winner of the TEGIWA Club Enduro. So we're going to move on to Colin Gillespie, if we can find Colin anywhere. Colin?
Colin's here, mate.
Colin is hit. Colin, there we are. Sorry about that. We were missed you a little bit there. So, late safety car drama as well. We were just going through that with William.
Yeah.
You were. It looked like you were going to go for the win, and then it ended up being trying to hold on for your life for second place.
I could not believe. I got told in the last lap I was second. I've only been in the car for 2 hours. So this is mega. I cannot believe. I can't thank the 750 enough, because I actually called it a day a few weeks ago and decided I got the phone call to drive this car, and here we are. I just cannot believe it. A big thanks to the 750 and the team. The team's just amazing.
Straight on the podium. Well done.
Cannot believe it.
Brilliant. Well done, Colin.
Thank you very much.
And well deserved second place. And then we have Rob Baker.
Nope. He's not here, it's Carl Swift.
Oh, it's Carl Swift. Of course it is. Sorry. It's because we've got two names on the entry sheet. So Carl, almost getting second place. The safety car helping you out a bit there, and did you think all your eggs in one basket and all that kind of thing?
Well, that safety car helped, but the puncture didn't 30 minutes in.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, so we had the puncture and then the 30-second penalty for the win at the last round, so we'd lost like, I don't know, a full lap and a half or something. So just chipped away at it for that whole second stint after the first safety car, and then magically another safety car, and we're all in view, so great ending.
Yeah, lucky there. But yeah, you were really hounding him towards the end. It was a shame that you couldn't get past, but yeah, made it all exciting for us, definitely.
Yeah, one more lap would have been nice. Maybe we could have done, but it's great third, taking a bit less of a penalty over to Spa now, so that'll help us in that first race. So great weekend.
And it looked like you tried everything as well, including being on the grass coming out of the final corner as well.
I tried left, right, upside down, everywhere. There was no getting past him. He drove that well.
Well, thankfully no upside down. There's Carl Swift. Thank you very much. That's your podium. So then we move on to Class B winner. So Luke Handley, how was Class B?
It was literally the hardest race I've ever done. 30 minutes in, problem with coolant temps, went to about 140. I think it's sensor related, but it cut the power on the car. So the car was like 2 seconds slow and it wasn't qualifying. Managed to manage it the whole way through, pitted under safety car, and then Tom keeping me updated where we were in terms of people catching us and what we needed to do to keep it in front. But a lot of things went right and we managed to win it, so absolutely brilliant.
Well done. Get your garland back on, sir. That's it's well earned. It's well earned.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
So thank you. So that's your Class B winner. And then we're looking further down, here we go, into Class C. So we've got 2 drivers in Class C. So we've got Joel and Dan, is that correct? Brilliant. Well, let's get you both in here and have a quick chat. So Class C, taking it from the MX-5 towards the end of the race, how was it for you?
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, the car was absolutely brilliant. The team, so thank you to the team, they got the car ready, literally skin of their teeth, right, literally 2 o'clock in the morning finished. Yeah, couldn't fault it. And Joel brought it home. I mean, I've done the first stint, but yeah, fantastic drive. Fantastic.
Yeah, Joel, how was it for you towards the end?
It was great, actually. Dan did a brilliant job to put it where he did. And yeah, I just had to bring it home, so I did that. And yeah, thanks to Crown Paints and Elite Works Motorsports.
Yeah, we'll have a quick look at the paint job as well, because this is one of the more interesting paint jobs that we have here, with all the swatches of the different paints from Crown. So a brilliant colour scheme, brilliantly designed, and well done to you both. So that brings to an end our coverage, certainly from the pit lane, and our coverage for the day. I will hand you back to the commentary team, but thank you very much for joining us.